Martin Scorsese's Taxi Driver is hailed as a masterpiece of American cinema that has had a significant impact on film and culture since its release in 1976. This is hailed as a cinematic masterpiece for the way it explores the darker side of human nature, loneliness, and the gritty underbelly of urban life. Taxi Driver, while being a brilliant film that it is not without its flaws. Here's my take on one of the most iconic films of American cinema. Hello everyone, welcome back. Starring the young and handsome Robert De Niro before he had the permanent smirk on his face, this film follows Travis, a lonely and disillusioned Vietnam War veteran who takes a job as a nighttime taxi driver in New York City, witnessing the sleazy and corrupt underbelly of society. As Travis drives through the city's gritty streets, he becomes increasingly disturbed by the violence and degradation he encounters, leading him to take drastic measures to try and make a difference. He becomes increasingly disgusted by what he sees and begins to harbor violent, nihilistic thoughts. He becomes fixated on a young prostitute named Iris, played by young Jodie Foster, whom he sees on the streets of the city and becomes determined to save her from her life of prostitution. As Travis's mental state deteriorates, he begins to plan a violent vigilante mission to clean up the city's streets. He purchases a cache of guns and begins to stalk a presidential campaign worker, played by Sybil Shepherd, whom he had previously asked out on a date and been rejected by. Eventually, Travis's violent tendencies escalate and he goes on a killing spree, targeting pimps and others he believes are exploiting women. He ultimately attempts to assassinate a presidential candidate but is foiled by Secret Service agents and seriously wounded in the process. In the aftermath of the shooting, Travis becomes a hero to some and villain to others. He is committed to a psychiatric hospital where he begins to recover from injuries and the trauma that he has experienced. The film ends with Travis driving his taxi again, now wearing a mohawk hairstyle and apparently at peace with himself. As he picks up a fare, the viewer is left to wonder what the future holds for him and will he ever be able to truly escape the darkness that surrounds him and that is inside him. While there is a segment of movie watchers who cannot stop at marveling at the cinematic masterpiece, there is also another world of watchers who are amused at the claim and exclaim saying, "Yeah, why not? There is nothing so entertaining like a mentally unstable, misogynistic taxi driver who has a penchant for violence." Travis sees violence, degradation, inequality, and injustice all around, and therefore he chooses violence. What an irony! One of the primary criticisms of Taxi Driver is its treatment of women. The film portrays women either as victims or as objects of desire, with no minds of their own. Jodie Foster's character, Iris, is a teenage prostitute who becomes the object of Travis's obsession, and while Foster's performance is excellent, the portrayal of a character is problematic. Iris is not given a voice of her own, and her story is framed entirely through the male gaze. The film's use of violence against women has been criticized as gratuitous and exploitative. Who needs complex, nuanced characters when you can have Travis, a man so devoid of personality that even his obsession with Iris feels flat and one-dimensional? And let's not forget, Iris is there purely to serve as Travis's object of desire and eventual rescue. Because nothing says female empowerment like being rescued by a man. Uh-oh. Moreover, the 12-year-old Foster in the middle of all the violence doesn't go well with a section of viewers. Another standout feature of Taxi Driver is its unflinching depiction of violence. The film includes several scenes of graphic violence that are both shocking and disturbing. However, Scorsese never glorifies or romanticizes violence, instead using it as a way to explore the darker aspects of human nature. The violence in Taxi Driver is a product of the loneliness and isolation that Travis Bickle experiences, and its impact on the character is tragic and devastating. De Niro's performance as Travis Bickle is nothing short of extraordinary. He imbues the character with a sense of pent up rage and desperation, capturing the deep seated loneliness and alienation that drives Travis to the brink of madness. De Niro's physical transformation for the role, which included losing weight and adopting a mohawk haircut, adds to the character's menacing presence and gives him an unmistakable, unsettling appearance. Not to forget the way he enacted the "you talking to me" scene, where he looks into the mirror and imagining a confrontation that would give him a chance to draw the gun. This went on to become a pop culture mainstay and one of the all-time best movie quotes. He fluctuates between a self-styled charmer while making his move on Betsy, his love interest, and the tactless lover while on a date with her. Guess where he takes her on a date evening? To a porn movie in a red light street. There is this side of him that lacks a comprehension of what is acceptable by social norms and what is not. He lives in a state of perpetual confusion between his own sense of self-righteousness and external validation. Robert De Niro makes you empathize with Travis, and you cannot help but fall for his character when he apologizes to Betsy for his mistake. At its core, Taxi Driver is a character study of a deeply troubled man. Travis Bickle is a complex and contradictory character, at once sympathetic and disturbing. He is a man searching for meaning and purpose in a world that has rejected him, and his descent into violence is both tragic and inevitable. The film asks important questions about the nature of masculinity, mental illness, and the American dream, and its exploration of these themes remain as relevant today as it did when the film was first released. Despite these criticisms, it's undeniable that Taxi Driver is a landmark film that pushed the boundaries of American cinema in significant ways. The film's exploration of urban decay and darker aspects of human nature remains powerful and relevant even today. Additionally, Robert De Niro's performance as Travis Bickle is a tour de force of acting, while his portrayal of the troubled and isolated Vietnam War veteran becoming an iconic character in American cinema. In conclusion, Taxi Driver is a flawed but brilliant film that remains a touchstone of American cinema. While the film's treatment of women and mental illness is problematic, its exploration of loneliness and violence is powerful and enduring. Scorsese's direction and De Niro's performance are exceptional, and the film's impact on American culture and cinema cannot be overstated. Taxi Driver has stood the test of time. 47 years after, we are still talking about it. It is a haunting exploration of loneliness, violence, and urban decay, masterfully directed by Martin Scorcese. The film is a testament to the power of cinema to explore complex and difficult themes to offer insight into the human condition. If you have not seen it yet, do yourself a favor and experience this classic film for yourself, at least to know what the fuss is all about. That's it for now. I'll come back with my next review. Till then, bye bye.